Wait till I see it come up on the thing. I mean, and we are live. Hello, everyone and no one, because I think I'm mainly the only person here, probably with Tier. But today on Rotn Movie Reviews, we're going over the movie The Wicker Man. And all I put was Wicker for the frickin' thing. Good Lord, I have to fix that. It was supposed to be The Wicker Man, not the Wicker. I can't believe I did that. But the 1974 movie of Wicker Man, or The Wicker Man, I don't think it's supposed to have either or whatnot. Not 1974, 1973. Good Lord, one of these days I'll get shit right. But with me as always is Tier. How you doing today, man? Tier, you there?
Fall asleep.
Hello. And is he back? You back, Tier?
Am I? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, so that came out weird. Okay, so how you doing tonight?
I'm great.
And joining us this time is James Colley. James, how you doing today?
Really good, y'all.
Oh, not so bad. Good Lord, would you let me freaking edit this dang thing?
Nope, you can. No edits for you.
I'm probably gonna have. Yeah, because I obviously know exactly what I'm doing in this. But Wicker Man came out in 1973. It's a Catholic cop who goes to an island. And the Catholic cop was played by Edward Woodward, who has done a whole bunch of things. I know he has. And then Lord Summersile, I didn't realize it because of how young he was, and without having a beard, that man looks so different.
Yes.
Was Sir Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee. Saruman himself.
Oh, Christopher Lee is a great actor.
He
Loved
is.
him in Star Wars.
I loved him in The Howling too.
He's been great in everything.
Yes, he has been great.
There we go. Now I got things figured out.
His Dracula is one of the quintessential Draculas.
Oh yeah.
But before we get into that, we will go with into the whole thing. It had quite a few people, and the best thing I can honestly say for this movie, while entertaining, you can definitely tell this was from the 70s because there were tits everywhere.
Yes.
And good Lord, that was some drug-induced pagan shit. Oh, and hello, Angela.
Hello, Angela. It sets up a great mystery. Like, I was honestly intrigued.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's just one of those weird from the 70s movies. I mean, it was directed by Robin Hardy. I don't know anything from there. Oh, because it's based off the novel Ritual.
Yeah.
But I mean, for doing the whole like pagan kind of horror movie, not horror movie, I'll have to say I like it more than a lot of other ones, to where there's way or a crap ton more death.
Yes.
I mean,
I think the cop was kind of dumb.
Well, that was the whole point, because spoilers for a 50-year-old movie. He was. Well, we're not including the remake in this one, but for a 50-year-old movie, he was meant to play the fool.
Well, no, not that way. I mean, not necessarily. Who goes to? I guess maybe British is kind of different, especially in the 70s. But who the hell goes to an island without backup.
Yeah.
Like, just who the fuck does that?
And at that time, I'm still pretty sure as a cop he could have carried a force multiplier.
I'm pretty sure he could have, and he should have.
Oh yeah.
Like, him not carrying a gun is, yeah. And then,
And just with the way that movie went, it's like if he didn't, you can tell he ignored every gut instinct he had for so much shit.
yes.
Because there was so much that, like, yeah, you probably, it's like after like the first couple hours there, been like, yeah, I kind of think I need backup.
Shit, after the first 20 minutes when they looked, you could clearly tell they were lying.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, they're lying, and I'm by myself on an island with all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe I need some assistance. I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd been my first thing. Like, I need some help. But I'm pretty sure he didn't tell anybody where he was going.
Well, he would have had to because they'd have had to, known why he was going to take a plane and go to a specific island for some strange reason.
Sure. And it seemed like it was a police vehicle, if you will.
Yeah.
So I guess somebody would have had to have known.
But still, just that whole thing of, homie, how you going to go to some island on your own?
Yeah. Dude, you were fucking crazy.
Like, I hate to use the stereotype in that whole thing, but sometimes just like fucking white people. Fucking European white people.
Being white. No, stop being British. And I'm a little angry that there was only one really violent scene where he hit the guy over the head with the club, the candelabra or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, this was meant to be more of a psychological type thing.
Yeah, but still, cool. At least a fist fight.
I mean, when he was going to save the girl, I was expecting to deck one of the dudes. Well, I think he decked one of them before he got the rope.
Like, come on, somebody get punched in the throat or something.
All I gotta say is just that was some of the weirdest things I've seen. Like, I've heard dirty songs and whatnot, but those were just
really dirty.
Weird.
No, they were old folk songy dirty. That's a whole level of dirty I will never have experienced in my life. Well, I just did, I guess.
You can compare some of those songs to, what's his face? You Never Called Me By My Name, country singer.
Way before my time.
Yeah, about the same time as in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Not Johnny
I'm
Cash.
Looking up at some of these actors that were in it.
Mm-hmm.
The young girl, Brett
Eklund?
Eklund?
Yeah, the one who played the daughter of...
Yes. The bar owner?
Bar owner's daughter.
Yeah. She did a lot of stuff in the 80s, and going back, and a lot of it is she enjoyed exposing herself, apparently. Because a lot of these movies...
They just sound dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's how it was for some of those things. It's just there were some women, it was morally they were going to end up being naked somehow.
Yeah.
See, all right, I will say this. Remember the schlock shit of the 70s and the early 80s where, if it didn't show at least a boob, it wasn't getting on TV, or it wasn't getting a movie made about it?
Pretty much.
I'm surprised it was rated R for that time frame with that much tits. I'm figuring it would be PG-13.
Yeah, because there's some PG-13 shit from the 70s that wouldn't be PG-13 now.
Dude, it makes some of the current rated R movies look tame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. I mean, the year before she did The Wicker Man, she did a movie called What the Peeper Saw. That sounds like a good Christian movie.
Right, Christian. Right, Christian.
Well, it could
Probably she's still alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, she was a Bond girl.
Yeah.
The man with the golden gun.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Apparently, she was also in Get Carter, and I think that either had Sylvester Stallone in it or someone who looks like, or it's a remake has it. Oh, she worked with Michael Caine.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, depending on what it was, because of the fact she's exposed herself, that she might not get as many of the higher roles like some other has, so she goes to, more of like the B, C style movies because, well, you got to pay the bills somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Well, I mean, a lot of what she did in the 80s, she was on some really good, notable TV shows as well. I mean like
heck, the
Fall Guy.
The same year she was in The Wicker Man, she was in the $6 Million Man movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
oh, wow.
let's see what else.
She was in like the old school Battlestar Galactica.
She was in Man with the Golden Gun.
We said that earlier.
Yeah.
And then,
I guess this is another one of those reviews where we really don't have much to say about the movie. It just, like I said,
it was weird.
It was odd, and honestly, I would not be surprised if the original writer of the novel and some of the other people were reading old pagan stuff and dropping acid or something.
I would not be surprised. Not be surprised at all.
well, let's look up what Wiki says about the ritual.
Like, I'm pretty sure that they had. Well, I can say this about the older movies. They really didn't cut much from when they did meditations. So it was fairly. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong. I've never read the book. That it's going to be fairly accurate to the book. Nowadays, everybody wants to put their own spin and twist and interpretation.
I'm trying to.
The plot summary says that pretty much what the movie was. An English police officer named David Hanlon, puritanical Christian, is asked to investigate what appears to be a ritualistic murder of a local child in an enclosed rural Cornish village. During his short stay, Hanlon deals with psychological trickery, sexual seduction, and ancient religion practices with nightmarish sacrificial rituals.
Well, aside from the Cornish village, pretty much accurate. Because I don't think it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't a Cornish village. It was a remote island village.
Yeah, and the only real difference was he wasn't going after someone's murder. He was looking at their
a missing child.
A missing child.
Yeah. It says that he wrote a sequel book to the ritual called The Wicker Woman, published by Endeavor Press in 2014.
Well, the only thing I'd have to look into for the book is to see what if they go to afterwards, because I know in the 2006 one with Nicolas Cage, they show an aftermath of like what happened after Nicolas Cage's character of the police officer is sacrificed, and this one they don't. They leave it open to interpretation. Did it work? Didn't it work? Mm-hmm. So that way, it's ambiguous.
Well, actually, I'm not.
Oh,
like I said, I guess I'm the virgin seeing this. The original.
Well, we're all the virgins seeing this. I haven't seen this one.
And apparently there was a spiritual sequel for this that was directed by Hardy called The Wicker Tree. So I might have to look into this one too for after we do the remake, and then Midsummer, which seems like another take on it, but just a little bit differently because it's done in Sweden.
So it's a Swedish one.
Well, it's American.
Subtitled.
I don't believe so, because I want to say the regular cast is predominantly American, and I think majority of them speak English. I'll have to look into it, but
yeah, from what I can see, The Wicker Tree, Christopher Lee's in it. So.
Yeah, he makes an appearance, basically a cameo.
Aw, that sucks.
Well, not everything needs to have a sequel. Sometimes that's just how it should be. I mean, to make an actual sequel to it kind of ruins the mystique of did it work, didn't it work?
Okay, I'll have to agree with that.
Because then it goes the whole thing. It's like, because then if it did work, it's like, if the crops were good, was it because of the ritual, or was it just a better year? It brings in other questions that could have been brought in. I mean, the people of the island, they're going to say, if the crops were good, it worked because, the sacrifice was proper. And if it didn't work, they'd be like, apparently we didn't have a good enough sacrifice.
We didn't sacrifice the right one. Now we got to find another one.
Now we got to find another cop like that, and a child, and a goat.
And 3 squirrels, 2 pigs. I lost my favorite cow. Thanks a lot, Lord Somerset.
Plus Lord Somerset. And
Come on.
And for some odd reason, they're also going to have a pack of Salems. How they got a pack of Salems, I don't know, but they somehow got it.
Alright, the ritual this time, we need 3 goats, 2 cows, a half a pig. It has to be a live half, though. Got to be the front half.
2 40-ounce malt liquors.
Yeah, 4 multipliers, and a guy named Franco. Get on it.
Well, I like how towards the end of the movie, how the detective put it back on the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if it fails this year, you have no choice but to put up him for sacrifice next year.
Yeah.
I want to know what. I get why it was done, but the stupidity of searching every house in that island, and the entire time I'm thinking like the kids were. You can't tell me the kids weren't playing lookout.
Oh yeah.
If they were trying to sacrifice the girl, they'd just move her.
Yeah, it's a small town. Like, they're gonna be able to stay one step ahead of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could not search that. Like, they would just keep moving her from house to house, like, circle back. In
all reality, the smartest thing he could have done, since he was by himself, was basically start arresting people or detaining them, and then freaking binding them to something so they wouldn't be able to move, and just continuously bring people there and, have them tied up in a way, or cuffed or something.
That wouldn't work either, because again, you'd have the issue of
yeah, but you'd limit it down a hell of a lot faster, and then that's when most likely someone's gonna come and be like, "The fuck are you doing?" You're gonna be like, "You're gonna get what I want." It's like, "I'm gonna get what I want," and by the way, get on your knees, put your hands behind your back.
Whoa! That sounds a little rapey. I want to get what I want, so get on your hands and knees.
No, I said get on your knees and put your hands behind your back.
Yeah.
Just a
That
little.
still sounds rapey.
Just a little.
Some of the stuff cops do say does sound like kind of weirdly BDSM and not the fun way.
Put your hand, spread your cheeks. Hands behind your back, spread your cheeks. What?
I
You
want
heard
to be
me.
in prison.
Hey, black ass, why didn't you moon us earlier?
Assume the position.
That movie also had a really fucking weird soundtrack.
Yes.
It did. It really did. And I'm really glad that they didn't use that,
The synthesizer.
not the one that worked off of a vibration.
Oh, you talking about
The machine that goes.
yeah, the whirly thing that in all drugged out, coked out movies have. In the
Exactly.
70s. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the
Instead, they
name
kept
of
it very, very regular to just regular instruments. I will say I did like for how majority of the songs were actually done by like the people there, and they just played that over. So it's like weird soundtrack, well put together, and how it was done.
It was basically a musical.
Yeah.
Like every so many scenes, you heard a folk song. It was basically a musical, a horror movie.
And pretty much every song was talking about how someone should bang a chick, or it's like how some dudes should be banging a chick.
Yeah. All these sexual.
I mean, granted, 90% of them were because, hey, this is to reproduce, not just for fun. Kind of like it. Again, it's just
more,
weird.
it kind of head on with kind of goes in hand with the hedonist outlook.
Oh, hedonism,
Or
yeah.
hedonism. Eat, drink, be merry, produce.
Life is fleeting. Just fuck until it's over.
Kind of.
Pretty much. But true hedonism isn't just. It's about eating good food or getting pleasure
enjoying
from
life.
anything that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True hedonism is just about enjoying life.
Yeah.
Like,
And so that's kind of where they were going with this. I kind of see, and that, well, when shit goes downhill, you can't go to. You can't claim to be a hedonist and a Christian at the same time.
Yeah.
well,
So you got to
clearly
pray to
were
your pagan
Christians.
gods.
They were still praying to their pagan gods. I mean, whew.
Well, at least they weren't fucking around with witchcraft,
It's
Well, they
not
were.
really any different.
Remember when the scene where they're jumping on the fire, they're skyclad. That's I know for a fact that is a Wiccan pagan type shit.
Yeah, and anything in that, considering the fact of it not being Christian, could easily, with women partaking in it, could easily be considered witchcraft by a lot of things back in the day.
Oh shit! If you looked at the scene where they were, those were standing stones. That is clearly, at least the classical definition of a witch or witchcraft would be standing stones, naked, fire, like all there.
No.
Yeah.
So they were practicing which they weren't doing magic per se,
Yeah.
but they were practicing witchcraft, paganism, Wicca, whatever you want to call it, whatever they call it nowadays.
Well, and most of them try to call it neo-paganism or whatnot, not realizing that in majority of cases, anything that's not considered of the Abrahamic religions, which typically falls into Judaism, Christianity, and Muslims, or Islam, is technically paganism to most people. So, like, technically Buddhism or Hinduism, if I remember correctly, are still considered paganism.
But see,
it's considered heathens. They're considered heathen.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the issue with most religions. All right, if I'm not Christian, then to a Christian, I'm either a pagan or a heathen or a blasphemer.
Mm-hmm.
To a Jew, I'm either. Okay, I did sneeze there, but I'm the same. It's just a point of view. Like, everybody's religion is paganistic or heathenistic to everyone else's.
Other than Judaism and that whole thing, with Christianity or Islam, you're not necessarily a heathen or something. You can, like, because if you could also be considered. Well, you're not a heretic unless you're going against things. A lot of times they'll consider you the unconverted.
Unwashed masses.
Yeah, basically, it's the whole thing to go into of there's someone that can be converted to Christianity or to Islam, because those religions are not something where you have to be born into them, i.e. Judaism.
You have to be born a Jew. Like, you can convert.
Yeah.
But most
you're not,
of the time you're born into it.
Yes.
No. I believe it's passed from mother to child. So if your mother was Jewish, you're Jewish. But if your father's Jewish and your mom isn't, you're not necessarily Jewish.
I think you're still considered Jewish. You're just not, like, as
Jewish.
I'm gonna use the old joke. Like, you're not really a full Jew. You're kind of like Jew-ish.
You're Jew adjacent.
Hey, with Angela listening, yeah, she's getting a kick out of these Jew jokes, I'm sure.
We got more.
Well,
I'm glad that my girlfriend supports me.
Man. It's a rather, like I said, I like this movie.
My joke for the girl.
Too.
I'll say my joke for the girlfriend thing. She's the square root of a negative 100. Solid 10, but completely imaginary.
I agree.
Angela's very real.
I'm single, so that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said for me.
Oh, for you.
Yes.
Okay, I get you.
And that whole thing. But yeah, otherwise, I definitely recommend people to watch the movie if they're into horror, but it's not going to be like a slasher film.
Well, I would say it's more suspense.
Yeah, that's why for the
driven than horror per se, because it lets your mind wander.
Yeah.
A psychological thriller.
Well, because it's like, for what they say on the tags on IMDb, it's a horror mystery thriller. So it still has the horror aspect of, I'd say, horror light and a lot of things.
Because it's 70s horror.
Yeah. 70s also had a lot of fucking slashers for horror movies, so...
Yeah, but that was late 70s. Early 70s.
No,
horror.
actually, the genre started in the horror genre with the Last Girl Standing. Started in Italy in about the late 60s, early 70s. It was becoming a thing.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Well, it also all depended on where it was, because back in the day for the U.S., you couldn't really have things that had that ambiguous ending like The Wicker Man did. So it wasn't until the Sutherland remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers where they could have that, like, the original black and white Invasion of the Body Snatchers, has the guy who's seeing all the stuff, trying to tell the police, the people are being changed in this thing, like, oh, I think he's just crazy. And it's like they walk into two guys that come in with one of the pod people, and they're like, no, he's not crazy. There's aliens about. Let's go get him, boys. And like, that's how the movie ends, because they couldn't have those ambiguous, plausibly downer endings. Like, really, for a movie like this, the only other ones that you're going to see that had a downer type ending were going to be like a George A. Romero film.
Yeah.
I don't think George. All right, so I guess you could call Dawn the first
Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, Night of the Living Dead, the downer ending, because they capped his ass. He no survivors.
Which is funny because that was actually at the actor's request.
Well, it made sense for the movie because
it did make sense in that whole thing because, him being a black man when it came out and everything, there were a lot of audiences that wouldn't have been apt to him, a black man surviving when the white girl didn't.
I wouldn't even, not even looking at it from that angle. The movie itself is bleak.
Oh yeah,
and even if he'd have survived, there would have been two ways that would have played out. He would have been charged with murder, especially that he didn't commit, or
that one they did end it. And that one they did basically end it with. It wouldn't have been. I don't think that he'd been charged with murder. I most likely would have seen it as someone would have claimed he was a zombie and capped him and killed him anyways because of their own racist ideology. Because they even showed that they weren't out looking to lynch someone; they were out looking for zombies. This was an epidemic that was going on for the original one.
The only thing I've seen of that movie was what I've seen in that game, What the Dub. So
it's not a bad movie.
It's not.
I still like the remake of it that George A. Romero gave his blessing on, but a lot of the George A. Romero movies, until you start getting to the later zombie ones, had a bleaker ending to a point. And even
there were social commentaries.
Because I think it was Martin, to where they have the one guy who's supposed to be a vampire. That was a weird movie that I was not expecting Scribe to recommend.
I've never seen that movie.
We'll throw it in the queue for later on.
Okay.
We'll hit it. Go ahead.
When you think about it, most zombie movies are what happens when society breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
And what basic human instinct really is. I mean, if you even go back to the early zombie movies, The Walking Dead.
Oh, the first season of The Walking Dead is amazing for that, because the first season of The Walking Dead is major personality archetypes in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yes.
I mean,
hero cop.
And that's honestly, in a lot of cases, you could say in quite a ways for the first Night of the Living Dead, and even the remake were close to that.
And it even spills over into anime. High School of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
If you get past all the fan service, all the ecchi stuff, you got high school teenagers of what happens when their microcosm breaks down. Who do they trust? Where can they go?
Well, for some of them it was that because I went through and read that one. For a lot of it, it all depended on. It showed how easily people could be swayed by a charming personality per se.
Yeah,
but that's
because the kids had it that they didn't start going more hedonistic and perverted and whatnot for the some of the ones until the one teacher started going on about shit like that. And then the one kid was like, I just want to find my family. He straight up kicked him out to zombies.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you look at it, the whole societal breakdown thing, we've been this road before. You've seen Lord of the Flies, right?
I was in the midst of reading that one, or an audiobook of that one, I want to say.
I read it.
It's the same premise. What happens when there's no leadership? I mean, granted, it's just a group of boys, but what happens when there's no leader and no authority figure, we revert to a
tribal mentality.
Yeah, strongest the strongest person makes the rules. Everybody coalesces behind fractures and breaks up, and coalesces behind either the strong leader or the one that's providing more. And then those two personalities would eventually, at some point, clash.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is.
Well, see, that was if you go through the symbolism of Lord of the Flies, the conch shell, which represented who the leader was.
Who got to speak, yeah.
Exactly. But later on, it's taken over, and only one person gets to speak and dole out decision making.
Yeah.
And
until they're saved.
Exactly. And if they hadn't have been saved, the two boys that were kept it together were fixing to get executed.
Well, one of them did. Piggy got killed.
Yeah. But if you notice, all the people that did die in that, they were washed away in the ocean because they provided no other service after they died. There's a lot of symbolism in Lord of the Flies.
Oh, I can believe that.
Oh, yeah.
I still got to finish it. Well, I guess, like I said earlier, there's really not too much to say about this one because I don't know all the filmography and shit like that. And it's not like when we were watching, Jordan Peele's progressiveness, or not progressiveness, but as he progressed as a filmmaker.
Right.
And that
he came a long way.
Oh yeah.
I can I can tell you the differences between Nick Cage's version and this.
Well,
we're
not going to go over that quite yet because that's next week.
Right. But I would take this movie 110% over the remake.
Oh yeah.
From what I can remember of it, the bits and pieces that I've seen, I would definitely take this one over the remake. Just because it seemed like the director didn't keep Nicolas Cage in check, because Nicolas Cage can be a good actor, but he needs someone who can rein him in.
Right.
And sometimes it just seems like for some movies, they're just like, hey, we're going to let you go balls to the wall.
And he does.
Like doing Willy's Wonderland when they're like, okay, you get to be kind of crazy, but you are not allowed to talk. Period. Great movie. Drive Angry.
Great movie.
Great popcorn flick. It is a shut your fucking brain off movie.
Oh.
Headcanon is that it's a version of him as Ghost Rider. It's a different version of Ghost Rider. Headcanon.
I think it's a better version of Ghost Rider, in all honesty.
I still like the first one, but that's just because it kind of holds a special place for no reason other than when I saw it. The second one is, for Ghost Riders, utterly retarded.
Yeah.
It didn't really make much sense.
Nope.
So, this is what I've learned, that sometimes sequels don't need to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
kind of like we were talking about when we found out there was a Wicker Tree that's like a spiritual sequel. Completely not necessary. The great thing about the movie is how ambiguous it ends. I still will say, though, I'm still kind of convinced that as they started burning that whole thing, that Sergeant Howie didn't just break the door of the Wicker Man's chest open and jump out. I mean, at least go down fighting, bro.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, just to sit there and accept your fate. No. But that's that stoic British outlook too.
I think he was. This is going completely out of left field, but looking at it, I think he wanted to die. His actions are not You come to an island. Yeah, it's not conducive with as someone of intelligence. You come to this island. You're expecting that you don't bring backup. You don't bring anything to protect yourself. When you're clearly shown that the situation is far more dangerous than you can handle, you don't leave. Even when you leave, I get it that they destroyed his plane, but he should have left the moment he they're hiding something, and I don't have the manpower, to bring down a whole island. Maybe I should go. But he stayed.
Maybe this was. Oh shit! Maybe this was the idea for Resident. Maybe this this movie was the original idea for the Resident Evil 4 game. That's my own personal headcanon. The only thing that they did on that one was like, okay, we're gonna have someone who can fight, who will fight, and they're gonna have a knife and a fucking gun.
And it was set in what? It was set in not an Eastern European place, I believe, some vaguely Spanish island.
Yeah.
And the girl actually wants to be saved?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
but again,
because the girl wasn't from the island.
Yeah, but like I was saying, his actions seem so like when he's captured, he doesn't put up a fight. He really doesn't. He does not put up that fight. You're about to be killed. Hell shit, I'm taking somebody with me. Fuck it, I'm gonna take the Lord with me.
Oh yeah. As soon as it would have went through everything, they'd have been like, "You're gonna play the fool. You're gonna be sacrificed." I'd have been like, "Well, you won't be there to see it." And if he's like, "Why?" I've been like, "Bye," and thrown his ass over the cliff.
Or hit him with a, because again, he was being held, but they let him go. They let him go far enough to put the shirt on him, or whatever they put on him.
I'll fight a motherfucker naked.
Yeah, I'd have pushed those two chicks off me and dived at him and took him down with me. But he seemed to take it and I want this. You wanted to be a martyr. He
gave that whole thing of just pure acceptance.
Yeah,
he let them play him.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is, from a religious standpoint, he put his whole faith in his God.
Mm-hmm.
And felt that, okay, I'm in a no-win situation, but God is still going to protect me. I think that's kind of the way he was going.
Mm-hmm.
And when he tried to bring it down with intelligence,
Well, he also
which was his mistake.
Yeah,
you can't fight a religion battle with science.
Well, he wasn't even trying to fight it with science at 90% of the time. He kept trying to fight their pagan religion with his Christianity, and he had no one else to back him.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, when you're 1 against 1,000, it's not like the Old Testament where God's going to send an angel and say, okay, here you go. We're going to throw you in a fire, but you're going to be protected.
Yeah, we're going to rain salt upon the earth.
Yeah. I mean, but anyway, if you're looking at it like that, combine that with the old stoic British, take it on the chin and move on.
Being a proper English Bobby of not freaking fighting back.
Right. But during this time, the police could have been armed. Because this is in between the Firearms Act of 1937.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which
is that British or American?
In Britain. They extended the restrictions to shotguns and granted chief constables the power to aid in to add conditions to individual private firearm certificates. See, before that, in 1920, they said that if you want a gun, you got to be certified in order to have one.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until 1987 when they banned them outright. So between then and there, this is the 70s, he could have been armed.
Yeah.
And saved himself.
He should have been armed.
Exactly.
Again, it just does not seem like a man who was there, oh, I'm going to solve this mystery. He seemed like he wanted to die.
Yeah.
He should have been armed. He should have had backup. He should have realized that there was something much bigger that I can't handle it. Maybe I need to leave the island. He should have, once he realized his plane was broken, took a boat and left.
Yeah, especially when he got on the fucking ship that he could have just taken.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or he could have the dinghy. He could have took the dinghy and he could have rowed home. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a little far away, but still, you could have used some sort of means to leave the island.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
and I'm pretty sure that the distance between the island and the mainland, if you will, was not that great because you took a small little plane. You took a little winky
puddle
dink.
hopper.
Yeah, a puddle hopper. You know, that those things don't have the fuel efficiency to go far and then go back. So it had to have been a short trip. You know? So and
unless he was fucking sightseeing before he, on his way over there.
But even then, he would have to had fuel to return. So it was a quick trip and then a quick trip back. There was no way of refueling the plane if something happened.
Also, how the hell, as a pilot of a plane that small, are you not going to know how to fix the fucking thing?
That's another thing.
It sounds like he was set up from the get-go.
Well, I mean, the letter was sent directly to him anonymously, so you know that he was set up in that. But still, it'd be that whole thing. Why would you not go with a partner?
And that's another thing that boggled my mind. Why? I like the, like I said, I like the movie, but I start poking holes, and I do it again. But so the letter was sent to him specifically. You know, the ritual only required be virgin, come of your own free will, have the authority of the king or be a king, and then be the fool.
Yeah.
So anybody could match the first two. The authority of the king was vague enough that, you could have got a judge or a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Technically, they have the authority of the king.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to justify that he's a law enforcement agent, then you couldn't justify a barrister.
Well, hell,
and if you law on my side.
And hell, for a frickin', if you just want someone who would have the law on their side, be someone of the king or have the authority of the king, and potentially you could have invited a judge or lawyer in that whole thing there to join in whatever and turned them into the fool because they were invited there. They came there willingly. They didn't come there willingly under false pretenses.
Yeah, sure. But even then, it didn't say that you had to come of your own free will without false pretenses. Well, because it would fail because he came under false pretenses. You just had to come of your own free will.
Yeah.
So anybody would do. But why did they choose him?
Kind of reminds me of a Nirvana song. Come as you are.
Come as you are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, it had to be virginal. Yeah. So you could have took any other, like I said, any other barrister or anybody that would be less likely to put up a fight or
and hell, I want to say at that point you still had for the 70s the church, the state church.
Yeah.
So they could have easily brought a priest or whatnot. From that, guess what? They're a state church. They kind of have authority from the king. Not like a cop would, but they. It's oh god, it's one of those things. Like once you start trying to analyze, there's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense.
Like I said with the when we reviewed Us, I liked the movie. Don't get me wrong, I like the movie. I love the movie, but when I start analyzing and pulling on little threads that make no sense to me, I start unraveling shit.
It just pisses you off because you're like, stop doing shit like that.
Yes, but I can't help it.
No, not you, them. It's like if you're going to give me a supernatural explanation, then keep it supernatural, keep it magic, and that whole thing. Because the biggest thing of everything was, how would they have known he was a virgin?
Yes. Unless y'all were stalking him for a while.
Unless they have other people who are, from the island that go basically out to find prospects.
But even then, wouldn't it have been easier to find someone else that wouldn't put up as much of what would the benefit of him coming as a police officer to solve a case when he could have came armed with a partner, or he could have gotten away and told somebody, hey, we need backup, because he had a means of communicating with the mainland. Mm-hmm. However, if you chose a barrister or, like you said, a minister who came under the pretenses of we need a new minister because ours died, you'd have less resistance. Mm-hmm. They had no means of protecting themselves.
Maybe you missed it, but when girl invited him for tea and he declined and she started her naked dance, and the next morning she wakes him up and asks why he didn't come for tea, and he flat out said that
he doesn't believe
in sex before marriage.
He was engaged.
Yes, and he didn't think it would
but
be
a minister
right.
would be virginal too. Like a minister would be a virgin as well.
But he proclaimed it himself that he was a virgin.
Yeah, at that point,
but takes care of that plot point.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have known that necessarily early on.
No, but I mean, I think that they had intention when they started finding out things about him.
He became that.
Because he became the one that they wanted. And that's when they
essentially their plan could have fucked up if, say, he walks in and he bangs the hell out of her.
Yeah.
It would instantly destroy your plan.
Exactly, but then they would have went back to the girl. Because they're at the end when he said, yes, a young girl is best, but you are the type of sacrifice we need.
Yeah, he goes of how there's the things of these ones are better. It's like these things are better, but they're not always great. These ones are better than that, but you fill the very niche market of best everything. Sacrifice.
Again, why not just get a priest? Again, you know he's a virgin because ordained priest, Catholic ordained priest would be.
I'm gonna use a thing that's been said for anime, video games, and so many other things as well, including movies, because plot.
Well, actually, I mean, it can all be coulda, shoulda, and woulda is all great and good. We can debate that all night.
Yeah.
That he should have done this or he could have done that. But the fact that he didn't, and within the confines of what he did do, what his actions led to at the end.
Oh yeah, he led himself.
He came in there. He came in there all John Wayne style. Said, "Well, I'm a cop, and you're going to do," and everyone just kind of went along with it. It's like, okay, fucker, we got you.
We're going to kill you later.
But because he came in there with the authority of the king, he said that he didn't need the Lord's permission. Mm-hmm. He had the permission of the,
of the mainland. Yeah, because he was a a police officer.
Exactly. And people in a small town talk.
Oh yeah, especially back then.
At the pub. Yeah, I mean, if you're at the pub, small town diner, doesn't matter what part of the fucking world you're in, a small group is going to gather somewhere and talk.
But he came in when everybody was in there drinking, so people would have known instantly.
Yeah. Well, he even brings that up, which because of whatever, it's like you've probably all been informed by now.
Yes, he did.
Which is why he didn't go into the whole spiel of everything, and then he brought up the picture of the girl.
Yeah.
That's another thing that makes sense. So when he realized, again, there was an extra desk there that was empty. Clearly there's someone that should be there that isn't there. And he sees the thing, it's Rose. Okay, they're lying to me. I'm not getting straight answers. Maybe, I need some help.
Well, because he was being naive.
He clearly was.
I mean, he was taking things at face value. Obviously, he wasn't a decorated detective.
Yeah.
He couldn't have been.
I think that, because they did have an export of apples.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to the mainland to sell their apples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to have spies.
Yeah.
And they had been searching out for the guy. But
So
when they got him, because
a dummy, they put somebody that wouldn't be missed.
Exactly. But he would have been missed anyway because of his fiance.
And it was very unlikely for law enforcement to go missing at that time frame.
Right. I mean, but when you put out someone that's just, which is easier to corrupt? Someone that's go with the flow, as far as firm but fair in law enforcement, or someone that's more the John Wayne type, live by the sword, die by the sword. These are the rules. Who is it easier to trap?
Oh, the live by the rules, die by. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what they were looking at, I think, when they picked him. Because they already had him pegged for the fool.
Yeah.
And then later on, when he started trying to show that he was cheap big nuts, that's strike two.
Mm-hmm.
And then he mentions to the young girl, I'm engaged and I don't believe in sex before marriage. Hey, guess what? That's a virgin. We got a triple crown here.
Yeah, trifecta. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah,
and he came to free will.
Yep, which was the main thing.
Yeah, I mean, he could have dismissed the letter or taken it to his superiors. Said, hey, look, I got this in the mail. Yada, yada, yada.
But see, then that leaves the question.
A different story.
Well, then it also ponders the question as well, and that whole thing. Could his boss, the chief constable or whatnot, sent him on that because he's the one who pegged him for that, because he's originally from the island or a family member?
Part of it.
Yeah. Kind of like back in the, or I shouldn't say back in the, but in Hot Fuzz, of how the chief of police for the village was a part of the whole thing. He was actually the originator of the way everything went.
Oh yeah, Hot Fuzz was great. I love that.
So, but now we're just getting into speculation around the movie of whatnot, and it's one of those things you're supposed to. We don't have. It's meant to throw that whole curiosity thing into there.
Uh-huh.
Great movie. Still a great movie.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised I didn't watch it sooner.
Yeah, I mean, it was dated, but it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
holds up better
and
than,
honestly, I think having all the boobs, that made it much more enjoyable to watch.
Yes, it did. I do like some of the songs.
Yeah.
Some of the folky songs. They were creepy, but they were weird kind of creepy. In a good way. Like, remember Get Out's Run Little Rabbit, Run, Run. That song is catchy.
Yeah, but they fit what they were supposed to be doing in a way. If you kind of paid attention, they were kind of explaining some things and whatnot of what they did. Since so much of what they were going over was kind of based upon fertility, which is all supposed to be a thing in plants. Hence the reason why they were like, it's not a rabbit, it's a hare, because a hare is a pagan symbol of fertility.
You're right. I didn't catch that little plot point.
Which is why, I've known that for years, which is why, or it's like, and didn't even think about it until just now, which is why they buried the hare in the girl's grave. Because it was sacrificing a symbol of fertility.
And her being a virginal girl would mean she would be extremely fertile.
Mm-hmm. Because for her age, she most likely would have just went into puberty, so probably reaching her period.
Just had a period.
Yeah, which means, God, I hate that this is actually a thing in humans sometimes. But that's when she's most likely to be able to reproduce the best, and her body will actually come back from it. And the fact that I had to utter that kind of makes me feel dirty and need to take another shower. Because it's disgusting.
That's what showers are for, my friend. You can wash the dirt off. You can wash it off.
Sit there in the shower. It won't come off. I still feel dirty. But that's just how biology went for us as humans.
Well, like I said, but then again, girls were getting married at 12 and 13 years old back in the turn of the century.
Yeah, well, then again, it also depended on what your class. It's in a lot of cases like what your class was, because typically upper class people, they didn't get married that young.
Well, no. If you say you were nobility, you were engaged by the time you were 7 months old.
Yeah, most likely, and that whole thing. But you weren't getting married at that age.
No, you weren't.
Typically, for it, the reason why for it, like I said, for it was of a class thing, was for the younger people, so they'd be more likely to have those to help work the farm, or for plowing the fields and things like that.
Basically, okay. Pardon the crudeness of this. Basically, you were raising a Mexican household.
Yeah.
In one house.
Or you were trying to
your family as large as you could.
Well, yeah, because if you have your family working for you, and the head of the family, is basically dictating things, as long as they're fed and have a place to live and have a little bit of privacy, you really don't need to pay them anything. For back then.
Yeah, all you do is feed them.
It's just the way it was. Why do you think the Walton's house was so fucking big?
But on that note, it's been over an hour, and dude, we went all over the goddamn place in this one, which we normally go to. It's like we have that. Okay, we don't have much to say about it, and then all of a sudden now we have a shit ton to say about it because we started thinking more. And that's just the way some things go for movies, and that's probably going to be like 3 days later, all three of us are going to have something being like, oh, there was that thing in the movie as well.
Yeah.
God damn it.
There's a really good amount of symbolism.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not really familiar with paganistic.
Oh, I mean, that's why the Easter Bunny is. They took that because technically the Easter Bunny was supposed to be the Easter hare, which again goes back into that symbol of fertility, which is why this was done at I want to say May, because that's around when Easter is. So they were doing the springs. I think it would
April showers, bring May flowers.
Yeah, I want to.
That's what that is.
I want to say
it's the start of spring.
Yeah, because it wasn't the summer equinox.
It was the vernal.
What was it? The spring solstice? It's
the vernal equinox.
Vernal equinox. Yeah, I can't remember all of those things, but yeah. It's been over an hour. We're going to wrap it up. Next week we'll be doing the remake, the 2006 Nicolas Cage Wicker Man. And that whole thing. We'll see who may or may not join us in that whole thing. So you will find Tier next week with me, plausibly on something else, maybe in between via Johnny Hellcat or something, James Colley. You can find him on Twitter. His link is in the description. You might see him on someone else's stream. I don't know exactly whose you frequent to be on.
Jackbox, Clippers United.
Okay.
With Jack Gunsky. That's where I'm pretty much a regular now. Until Moonshock decides to come back.
Well, Moonshock's dealing with some medical stuff from everything I'm aware of.
Right. Yeah. So I'm filling in for him, just keeping his seat warm.
Yep, which is good. The fact from everything we know that he's beat. He's, for the most part, at least, he's two-time title holder.
Yep.
I mean, Cancer's only got to win once, but he's two-time title holder, so fuck Cancer. Not trying to...
Wait, fuck Cancer. Mm-hmm.
And as Frosted says, Cancer can't have Moon because Moon belongs to Frosted.
Well, yeah, he's a victim, as we all
exactly. So, but yeah, that's my only regular spot right now is on Clippers United. Sunday nights, 6 or wait.
All my stuff's done Eastern, and of course about. Okay, I guess someone else said that before me.
Central.
Oh, since I didn't have it on live chat, put user in timeout.
5 Eastern.
Oh, I'm on your top chat. I'm sorry. God damn it!
I just noticed it. Yep, I got a sex bot.
Sweet.
Congratulations.
Now you're somebody.
Apparently so. It's like I always thought for to get the sex box you had to have like 100 or hundreds of subscribers and whatnot, not like 7.
Yeah. When I was doing my game streams, I would get them.
Yeah, I think they go after anything that's live.
Yeah.
You would think YouTube would fix this, but
Oh, they're more onto other things and that. But we will be back next week, probably sometime around 11:50ish to midnight is what I'm trying to keep it at. Because if I have a gym day next Sunday, and I'm trying to make sure I go early so I can not be trying to rush back and that whole thing. But for everyone who came, appreciate you coming. For anyone who watches in the future, yeah, we went off on some tirades. Welcome to my mind. And that. But I hope you all have a good week, and I'll do something that you've been trying to do, at least a step in that direction. You guys have anything else you want to end out on?
Thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Rotn Corpse.
Hey, it's not a problem. That's why I throw it in Hellcat's Discord. It's like, hey, I'm gonna be watching the movie on Sunday, and pretty much anyone who shows up to watch it and makes it through most of it, I'll ask afterwards if they want to join for the review, and if they do, awesome. We'll go from there.
James, you have to come back for the second, at least Wicker Man the remake.
Oh yes, I'm definitely coming because not the beat.
We'll most likely be starting the movie at around 10.
Okay.
Yep. So I'll
your time?
Yeah, Eastern.
So 9 Central.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, from all of us to everyone else who may or may not see this, because obviously, I'm trying to make it be a real big deal by having that double-digit subscribers someday. Hey, P-Dog has Project 10,000. I have Project 10.
I got Project 20.
That's eventually the goal. It's gonna be Project 10, then 15.
All right.
That whole thing. But I hope you guys all have a good week, and hopefully your work is not a big pain in the ass like some folks' is. But hope everyone has a good week, and from me to you, have a good one.